let's talk a minute about allocation. Allocation is a kind of a kitschy word that we use in the industry to describe something that's been limited in production. It's a single barrel release or a number of bottles that they can't be just broadly distributed. So if you have a product that is allocated, it's this hard to get, very challenging to get and find in a retail store because there's just not much of it out there. And there's there's so many very popular ones that you could use as examples. Blanton's is one, Pappy Van Winkle is one, Elijah Craig 18 Years is another one, and Michter's has some fantastic allocations that are just tremendously fabulous whiskeys, but they're so hard to find. And these are usually the whiskeys that you find at little stores, and they've got, one bottle on the shelf and it's $1,000 and you're like, is it worth it or not? And at the end of the day, it's subjective to how much do you want it, because there is a very limited amount of it out there in the market, and it varies state by state, because every state, you got to realize, has so many liquor stores, there's so many retail stores. If I'm a producer and I've only made 4,000 bottles of this release, I can't distribute it globally. I can't distribute it to everybody that wants a bottle. So how do we decide who gets it? It's allocated. It's given to the best sales reps. It's given to the best accounts, the ones that have the most buying power, the ones that sold the most product for that company, for that distillery. And this is largely what causes a lot of frustration in a retail liquor environment, because no matter how much we feel like we sell of that brand's product, it's like, okay, I got 3 bottles of this and I got 3 bottles of that, and it's every 6 or 8 months, and it's never enough to feed demand, right? It's never enough to satisfy the people who come in and ask, well, what allocated liquors are available today? And it can be frustrating, but allocations they're special. If you see them, they're worth buying, especially if you see them at a store for MSRP or your state minimum levels. And if you want to pay a markup price for an allocation, that's up to you, but it is still worth considering for a minute. If you see a cool allocation, if you see a great bottle of something that they only made 4,000 bottles of, whether you're a collector or just an enthusiast, you have to make that decision in the spot. You have to pull the trigger or walk away and have no regrets in hindsight, because you got something that 100 million people looking for didn't find. You can't feel bad about that. You found it. It's chasing a unicorn. You found it. So spend your money if you want to, but don't regret it if you get it. Put it on a shelf, drink it, share it with friends. It's just whiskey. It's meant to be drank. It's meant to be enjoyed. You gotta just take those chances when they come up, right? So allocations are things that are not going to be saturated in the market. They might sit on a shelf for a long time because they're very expensive, but they are typically like the creme de la creme of a distiller's production. They are the top of that top echelon of what you're going to find of that distiller and that taster, master blender or master distiller's expressions of their whiskey. So just go ahead and buy it.